Hello Aries, how are you doing, my fellow fire signs? So I'm going to do your reading from November the 16th to the 22nd. I already did the first half of November, so we've kind of got some things going on there. Just got to change these around. So we've got I'll just do 5 minutes. Okay, so first half of November, we had this idea about feeling a little bit bored, we're like not much is going on, we're feeling a little bit trapped perhaps. I really kind of think that is, maybe continuing, we'll have to see. We have got the Hermit in reverse, so this is where you're like, I'm so bored of being stuck inside right now, I want to just get out and, spread my wings. So I think for a lot of you, you're still feeling super bored. You're still feeling bored, you're like, I just want to get out there and, show the world who I am. I want to get out there. But I think for a lot of you, this is where you've done a bit of introspection. You're like, look, I'm fed up of thinking. I'm fed up of being on my own. Let me just deal with it. You know what I mean? But I also think for a lot of you, for a lot of you Aries out there, knowledge is really important to you. Being managerial is really important. I think, you're not in control of things right now and it's irritating you. You're like, I don't really feel like I've got this control. I also don't feel like I know enough to be able to really do what I do best. So for some of you, I think you felt a little bit like, just a little bit bored with yourself, a little bit like stagnant. I think you've been also feeling a little bit, I think you've been wanting to take more risks. I think you've been wanting to take more risks, but you've not been supplied the opportunities to do so. I think that's what I get from that overall clarifier. So let's look at Queen of Swords, which we have in upright. So see that. Queen of Swords, to me, this is where you're feeling very, kind of feeling a bit more like yourself, even though you're feeling bored, you really want to get out there, and I think you're feeling very wise at the moment, feeling very witty. I think, for some of you, you've been dealing with somebody who's just really helped you find, passion within yourself. You've had somebody that's been able to give you a little bit of kind of sway, but also, do you know what Queen of Swords normally is kind of related to? Loneliness. So again, we're feeling bored and lonely, we're feeling a bit trapped. So I think that idea of the Hermit and the Queen of Swords together is like, we're just so bored and lonely. So a continuation of that in the 1st of November has not changed, that's still going on. But we've also got 5 of Swords in reverse, and you know what that means? Again, we're not going to take things lying down. We've got that in the earth signs. This is where you had an element where you felt a bit defeated, and maybe this was why you had to go inside and be introspective with the Hermit. This is where you're like, you know what, I spent some time on my own, and now I feel smart enough to be able to take on this challenge. I don't want to take defeat lying down. I think for a lot of you, this is why you're feeling frustrated about getting out, because you want to get out there and do what you do best. You're like, I want to get the success. I want to win. Aries love to win. We want to win. So I think for a lot of you, you're not going to take defeat lying down. I think it's going to be kind of one of those situations where, you're just feeling a little bit more, you've got a fire in your belly, is what I'm trying to say. You've got a bit more fire in your belly. But having said that, we've also got the 4 of Cups, which is actually coming through a lot on the sides. This is where, you're feeling a bit tired, you do want to run away. So I think there's a bit of a dichotomy here, which is actually probably pushed on, I think, by the pandemic. I think this idea about you want to get out there and do things, but you're also tired because you just don't know you don't see how it's going to work. So for some of you, I see a lot of this, not so much love, I really do see this from more career, that a lot of you just want to get out there and really push on to be successful. For some of you, you're really struggling with your purpose, you're struggling with what to do in life. You're like, what am I going to do with myself? I feel sort of trapped. I feel like I just want to run away from my problems because it doesn't seem like they're ever going to, come to fruition. We've got this Ace of Wands though, and the Ace of Wands is where you start getting creative with it. So for some of you, you do want to start creating. You want to start, pushing on with getting out of your shell a little bit, out of your comfort zone. So creating something you've never done. So maybe you guys are taking on projects you've never done before. Maybe with love, you're, taking a leap that you've never done before, that leap of faith. This really is a new beginning. So I think for a lot of you, this is where I see a metaphorical like shedding of snakeskin. So this is where you want to have a new beginning. So the Hermit is where, in reverse, is where you kind of realise I want to get out of myself a little bit, and now I want to have this new beginning. And this is also really good as well, because this is about you feeling fortunate about the future. You're still feeling a bit hopeful. You're tired at the moment, so that's fair enough, but you are feeling hopeful about the future. You do feel good. You've got like plans on the horizon, maybe something kind of like something to look forward to, I think. And also I think there's somebody in your life that's maybe just sort of giving you a boot to be like, yeah, okay, I'm interested in doing this now and I want to keep going on with it. Three of Cups as well. So we've got Three of Cups here, and we've also got Eight of Cups as well. Yeah, I like this together. I think this is interesting. We also have Ace of Cups as well. Let me just point that out. So we've got some Cups energy here, and we also had it in Four of Cups as well. So, you know, some of you could be dealing with the water sign, somebody with water in their chart that's kind of blowing you over a little bit. I think for some of you, you've got, for some, not all, this is a general reading, by the way, so we'll not all resonate. For some of you, you've got a water sign in your life that's just overwhelming you, and you're like, I'm so tired of you, get out of my life. So I think for some of you, that is coming through strongly. But, okay, so this is kind of where I'm kind of talking about the Ace of Wands and also the Hermit in reverse. So Ace of Cups is really about you being productive. You know, you're feeling more like you want to get back to work. You want to keep doing what you want to do best. And this is where you start to feel happy about things as well. So I think you've had a period where you needed some solitude. You felt lonely and bored, and you felt a bit like, maybe things aren't going well for me. And now you're feeling much more hopeful and productive. You're feeling much more steadfast. But I think for a lot of you, you've got somebody in your life that's just trying to overwhelm you. Or maybe you're feeling like you want to get back to work, you want to be productive, you want to do things that you do best, but you also have this ability to kind of always see the negative in life. And so you're like, oh, I feel overwhelmed already. And it's like, that's where that tired Four of Cups energy comes from. Because you just feel like, I don't really know how to balance everything. This is where you need a Libra in your life that can kind of give you some consults. If you've got a Libra in your life, because Libra and Aries go so well together, they can give you some sound, wise advice, some sage advice. Yeah, so Three of Cups. I love Three of Cups because this is the healing. This is the healing energy. This is where you're starting to come out of the period of darkness, shall we say. It sounds so dramatic, of darkness, but you know, of just feeling a bit. So I think this is really good. I really like this as well because this is a neat conclusion. This is like, it's all wrapped up in a bow. Again, feeling productive now. We're over, I'm seeing this here, we're starting to come over this period of feeling like shite. I also think for a lot of you it's really important to seek comfort in your friends and your family and your loved ones. I think it's really important to speak to people that you care about because they will help you. And I think it's really good to celebrate with people small wins. Even if you've had a tiny small win, it's so good to tell your friends and your family and your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, that you know, you've had this small win and it kind of will make you feel better. And it also pushes them on to feel good as well. So I think it's really good for you to find joy in little things, but I also think you're just going to be doing like an inner small celebration, like yes, things are starting to reach a conclusion. I think for a lot of you, and I mean a lot of you, you're like, thank God this year is almost over. I really want to just get back to work and keep pushing on. So Eight of Cups, this is a little bit about the backstory of you, I think, for you Aries. I think this is where you've had to abandon success. For some of you, you had to leave a job early, you got fired. This is also a little bit about love as well. So this is where, you know, a love that you had in your life did not work out. You had a situation that felt like you were trapped all the time. You were trying to be very kind and just balanced and modest about the situation, but it's like the universe was like, nah, I see you trying to be too kind about the situation. I'm not going to let you do it. I'm going to let you kind of worry. And this gives me the idea about what this card really makes me think of with a lot of people, especially a lot of Aries, who are very aggressive and passionate and want to keep moving forward, is that this really pushed you to be not like yourself. You know, you had a situation, it was like, I feel like I'm going to walk, I'm going to start walking and I'm not going to stop. This reminds me of the wise old traveller. You know, the wise old traveller who walks under the heat of the sun and all he thinks about is the heat of the sun and he thinks of nothing else and nothing else that happened in his life. This makes me think of the Hermit card as well, to in reverse. I think you had a period of just sort of wandering on your own, feeling lost, but having to accept defeat. But then we've also got this idea of that Five of Swords that's saying, no, we don't have to be that person. We don't have to be that wise old traveller walking on our own, not having the support of our loved ones. We can turn this around. You can sit there and say, I don't like where this is going. I want to change this around. So I think that is really important for a lot of you to know. You are not alone. You are not alone, okay? So I'm going to pick like a sign, just see what we've got. Let me just pick a random one. So we've got, how deep is your love? So for some of you were really tested with love. Somebody kind of wanted you to have a sacrifice in love. They said, how deep is your love? I'm going to test you. I'm going to test you because you're so kind and so amazing, and I'm going to push you to your limits and make you be this walking wise traveller. That is really, yeah, that's quite spooky actually, because I think that is, we don't want to see that Five of Swords. It's like that deepness of the cuts that you had, and now it's like there's a metaphor that my friend used to say that I was like. She used to say I was like the wounded wolf in the forest. That, you know, one wolf could die from one bow and arrow shot into them, but I had like 8 of them, and I was going stronger, because it was almost like I had been the wise old traveller. I've learned and learned and learned, and I've been able to kind of move on. So I think for Aries that really works. I think it's just fire energy signs that really do well with that kind of thing, you know, especially Sagittariuses. They really learn their lessons very well. So I think, you know, Aries as well kind of takes on that thing. And obviously Aries is god of war, and also just, you know, Mars is their planet. This is where that not accepting defeat comes in. So really it makes a lot of sense to have that Five of Swords in reverse for Aries. And then finally we've got Page of Pentacles in reverse. So I think this is where you have a bit of a perfectionist. This is where you seek a bit of perfection. I think for a lot of you, you know, again, maybe you idolise the situation, and you know, somebody maybe idolised you, and that caused you to kind of feel like you felt trapped, you couldn't move in a situation. So I just see a lot of element of you really seeking freedom. I think you want freedom. You don't want to be lonely or bored or whatever. You just want an element of freedom. For a lot of you, being out in the country is going to be really important. Going for walks, being around in nature, breathing in the oxygen. You know, I said about the wise old traveller under the heat of the sun. Just walking through and experiencing, live in the present. You know, when people have panic attacks, the best thing they can do is to ground themselves, is to, you know, what can I smell, what can I touch, what can I feel, what can I hear, everything, like when I taste, everything like that, and being able to just be fully present in the moment, I think is so important for you as an Aries. I think that's going to be something that really, that you take on in this week for these dates coming. So that was your reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe it resonated with some of you. It's just a general reading, so sometimes all of it won't resonate. You know, Aries is a big sign. I don't think, you know, we could get it spot on for everybody, but hopefully I do my job, you know, the best of my abilities for my job. If you liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, and also if you'd like to book a reading with me, my email's in my bio. So thank you very much.